Hi everybody, hope you're well. It's Debbie Hanson, and for those who know me from Marple and for those who don't know me from Glossop, I teach Pilates for Cherry and John over at the Marple studio, and I'm very excited today to be able to come down and do some exercises for you. So I've got my Mr. Motivator trousers on today. I just saw Mr. Motivator this morning in the living room, and I thought I'll go and put my Mr. Motivator on just to give you a bit of bling this morning. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. I thought it'd be really appropriate to do something for those people who are working from home a lot during this time, but also for those people who are doing lots of activities like gardening and you're becoming a little bit stiff in your upper body and in your lower back, and this little flow will be able to give you some mobility and also some stretches. So you can take little bits out of this and just while you're making a brew, do one exercise while you're doing something else, get up off your chair after 30 minutes of work and do some other exercises, and you might want to mix some mobility with some stretches. You can play around with it as much as you want, or you can just do the whole flow that I'm doing with you today. So just before we start, just make sure that for any conditions, any osteoporosis, any osteopenia, or any scoliosis, any conditions that you may have, it might be worth you watching this video first, and if I haven't given you those modifications, you can pop a comment below and one of the team will get back to you and tell you what you should and shouldn't do if there's anything that you're thinking or worried about. But hopefully I will give you those modifications. And if you're not feeling very well today, it might be worth again you just watching it and just seeing how your body feels. And if you don't feel well, then take it and do it another day. You can pick this video up at any time you want to. So I think I've covered everything. We're ready to get started. So I just want you to find your space on your mat. Lovely. So I want you to just spread your toes out for me and go into your normal prep work of being in good posture. So I want you to think about keeping the knees nice and soft, spread your toes out so there's equal weight between your right and left foot, and your big toe, your third and fourth toe in your heel is your grounding of keeping your balance between each feet. So I want you to keep the knees soft. Hips are obviously forward. Let's move up. Hips are in line with the ribs, so you're not leaning back. Back is in neutral, so just drop the sacrum down. Roll the shoulders round and then draw them downwards, so you're getting a little bit of lengthening through the neck. And let's just think about the middle finger drawing down the seam or a pretend seam of your trousers. So that's going to open up the chest. Crown of the head drawing up towards the ceiling. And feel the spine just lengthening. And I just want you to start with just a little breath in through the nose and breath out through the mouth if you can. If that struggles for you, just go with whatever breath feels comfortable for you. I'm just going to touch on your core muscles, so they can't move, but visualize your hips drawing closer together, and you should feel a slight pulling in sensation. So you're not drawing in where you can't breathe, you're just connecting into excuse me, that transverse abdominal muscles. So I will bring that awareness back every so often. So shoulders are back, middle finger at the seam, crown of the head drawing up towards the ceiling, and you're just breathing in and breathing out. So we're going to start off on your shoulders. So this is a great mobility for those who are working a lot at home, or those people who have been doing a lot of activities, particularly in the garden. So I'm going to get you to think about your right shoulder first. I'm going to get you to give me a little bit of a roll shoulder and down. And then do it again on your right. So you're bringing the shoulder up to your ears and drawing a circle with the shoulder joint. Let's change sides. So left shoulder and draw the scapula down. Feel some length through the neck. So up and then down. Let's try both together. So bring your shoulders up to the ears and draw the shoulder blades down. And you'll feel a slight opening through the chest there as well. It feels really nice. Just be mindful of those feet. Just be mindful of your knees. Just keep them nice and soft. And if you wish, if it feels good, take a breath in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth. How does that feel? If it's worn away, think about those hip bones drawing closer together. So I'm just going to get you to do that a couple times more, and that should be feeling a little bit warmer already around the shoulder area. Okay, hands at the side of your body. I'm going to get you to turn your head to the right and then back to centre, and then turn your head to the left. Now you may feel a difference in tightness here, ladies and gentlemen. So turn your head to the right and just be mindful of where you feel any tension or tightness right now. Okay, come back to centre for a second. I'm going to get you to gently push your chin into the back of the neck and then release. Chin pokes. This is a great postural exercise for anybody, particularly for those people who are constantly looking down at the laptop or at the mobile phones. So this is going to lengthen the muscles at the back of the neck. It doesn't look very glamorous, and that's why I put my glasses on to maybe make that look a bit more glamorous in my eyes. Okay, so I'm going to put that together. So I'm going to get you to turn your head to the right and then come back to centre nice and slowly. Give me one chin poke. Draw the chin to the back of the neck and then bring it back and release. And then turn your head to the left and then bring it back to centre when you're ready. And then gently press into the back of the neck. How does that feel? And then release. Let's try one more time. So you take it over to the right. You may feel a little bit more range of movement as you do more repetition. Relaxing those shoulders as you push back with that neck. Last time to the left. Eye gaze and head to the left and then back to centre, lovely. And then chin poke back and then release. Well done. I'm just going to get you to do a little bit of foot pedals just so that you're moving your feet and you're not standing too long standing up. So foot pedals, great for mobilising the toes, mobilising the ankles, mobilising the knees and the hips, but primarily this is a pelvis stability exercise. Just make sure those knees are tracking in line with your second and third toe. Be mindful of your posture. I'm just doing you some foot pedals here just to get some movement in those feet. How are we doing? So we've done 2 exercises so far, mobilising the shoulders and getting some movement through the neck, through the clavicle spine. Okay, next exercise I'm going to get you to do, go back to neutral position. Remember that posture. I'm going to do an arm float. So I'm going to bring your arm up and down. Change arms for me. Lead with the thumb so there's no encroachment around the shoulder or around that rotator cuff area. So I'm just bringing it up to shoulder height and then bringing it down. Think about your little ribs staying in line with your pelvis so you're not flaring or leaning back at the moment. And then again, lift. And I'm going to get you to stay at shoulder height for the time being. What I'm going to get you to do is move the arm behind as I bring the left arm up. And if it feels good, start to increase your range of movement. So at the moment I've got you to bring in your thumb towards the ceiling and your right hand to go towards the back. So you're getting a little bit of soldier arms maybe. I'm going to ask you to move around a little bit. So I'm going to get you to rotate and then come back to centre. Notice how my palms start to face to the direction that I'm moving. Any osteoporosis or osteopenia, I want you to let the hips flow nice and slowly. If it feels good, and if you want to move your head as well. I'm going to speed that up if you wish. So I'm going to go a little bit of rotation. Knees are soft. And again, rotating to the right and down and to the left. If that's too fast for you, just slow it right down and bring it back to centre. So this is great for mobilising through the shoulders, getting some spinal rotation. Again, move those hips if it feels good for you. Any pain, just reduce your range of movement. And then bring it down. Give yourself a little shake out. Okay, next exercise I'm going to do with you is a really opening up the chest, which I'll talk about later when we stretch it out, but I'm going to get you to focus around your scapula. So I'm going to get you to take your arms to shoulder height for me. Draw your shoulder blades down, and then I'm going to ask you to open your arms up and retract into the shoulder blades. Then bring your arms back to shoulder height, shoulder width, and let your arms drop down. So again, let's do it nice and slowly. Arms come up. Open your arms wide and feel this lengthening, this stretching through the chest. Feel the retraction through the back, and then bring your arms back and then down. So let's just take that a little bit faster. Take it up and open and back and down. If that feels a little bit too fast for you, just slow it right down, team. And again, so I'm going to get you to breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. At the moment, keep your back in neutral, standing up nice and tall. Think about that connection again through those deep core muscles. So think about those hips drawing together if they've worn away, if it's just worn off, if you've just switched off. Stay where you are. Have a little look at my back. I'm retracting through the shoulder blades. So imagine there's a tennis ball or a little squash ball, and I'm trying to squeeze that squash ball. So there's the focus. It's about getting some retraction into the back. Keep going, because we're constantly in this flex position. We need to stand up and really open and contract those muscles and scapula. How are we doing? How does that feel? Yeah, does it feel really good through the chest? And it's going to open and lengthen those muscles through the chest. Just going to get you to do a couple more. And again, let's do one more. So take a breath out here. Don't worry if you get the breath wrong, just breathe. Okay, give your legs a little shake again for me, a little shake. Okay, next exercise is great for your shoulders. Again, there's a little bit of emphasis on your scapula, and I'm doing a lot of work through the back because of this bending over at your desk or bending over on your phone, or while you're gardening. Obviously, if you're in your monkey squats doing your gardening or bending down, there's a lot of flexion. So we want to straighten you up and we want to retract. So this exercise, first of all, is called a dumbwaiter, and I'm sure you've seen it on many videos within the studio. Two areas that we'll focus on is rotation, rotator cuffs, and we'll get that retraction through the back. So I want you to start off with your palms facing up and just have your elbows tucked into the waist. Keep the knees soft again. And I want you to imagine there's a little ruler sitting between your scapula. And you're not allowed to touch that ruler, or a ball sitting between the scapula. So the idea is to keep the scapula nice and still. And the movement is just coming immediately rotation through the shoulder joint. Okay, so relax the shoulders down, crown of the head up to the ceiling. Really think about your posture again. And we'll take our palms in line with our wrists. So very small movement. So I'm just going to get you to go out and then back in. And again, you can go with whatever breath feels good for you at the moment. And this one could be done while you're waiting for your kettle to boil, while you're having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. And again, so I like to just breathe out here and then breathe in. And what I tend to do when I take my arms out, and I'm really focusing on keeping my scapula still, is I try and connect into those deep core muscles again. You could even draw up on pelvic floor, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Stay where you are. I'm going to show you around the back again. So ideally, I'm going to try not move my scapula. I'm going to visualize that ruler between my scapula. Did you notice? I know it's dark because I've got a t-shirt on, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. Okay, now I'm going to get you to squeeze your scapula, and I'm going to bring your arm over the top. So I'm going to get you to squeeze. Now you may feel a little bit of tightening through the back. You may feel a little bit of opening through the chest. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to call this palms of silver. So I'm going to rotate and drop the coins into my hand. So I'm getting a little bit of rotation through my wrist. So I'm just dropping that silver in my palms. So I'm just popping the coins into my palm area, but I want you to focus on squeezing the scapula this time. So that's retraction into the back, whereas the first one was more rotator cuff. And this bit is just to get some mobility through the wrists. So I'm not sure what side I'm on, but we'll just do one more. And again, really opening up the chest as well. And last one, keeping those elbows close to the body. Give yourself a real good shake out, real good shake out. Okay, I'm going to do a rotation now. So this time I'm going to do a little bit more rotation. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, keep your movement small. I'm going to build it up. Keep the knees soft. Feel free to move the hips for those who need to move those hips. So feet hip distance, spread your toes out again. And I'm going to get you to start with hands here and then hands here. So they're going to go to shoulders, to thighs, to shoulders, to thighs. And I'm going to build this up to do a rotation with the arms as well. So we're going to go hands on shoulders. I'm going to rotate to the right. come back, hands down. Hands on shoulders, I'm going to rotate to the left. At the moment, I'm keeping my pelvis still. So remember those conditions, you will need to let your hips move and let your pelvis move. So I'm just letting my head turn around in time with my spine, so I'm letting my head go along for the ride. So for those conditions, you're going to stay with this. Hands here, rotate, back and down. Now I've got a little beat going on in the music team. If that's too fast, just slow it down. So I'm going to progress now to add some arms. So I'm going to take your arms up, rotate and back and down. Lead with those thumbs again. I'm going to incorporate some breath. So breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Try and keep the hips still at the moment. Try and keep those hips still. How does it feel from right to left? Does it feel different? Lovely. And again, keep those knees nice and soft. If it's hurting your back, if you feel a little bit stiff, then let your hips follow. That's absolutely fine. Sometimes we focus on your thoracic spine, sometimes we let the lumbar come in as well. So go with what feels good for you. Remember, osteoporosis, osteopenia, you're going to stay with this. It's this, rotate, back and down. So it's a great one for mobilising the thoracic spine. And then let it go. Well done. So I've tried to give you some movement through the shoulders, getting some mobility. I've done some mobility through the neck. I've done some arms where I got you to slight rotation there, again mobilising the shoulders and getting movement through the spine. I got you to do dumb weights, which is a great one for your shoulders and retracting through the back. And this one's fantastic, and then I've just done that rotation. So there's your mobility. You can take this away, take chunks away and put it in whatever part of the day you want to, or you can put it all together. So the next section now is to stretch out. So when you're sat at a desk all day, and more often than not, people at the moment are at home, so they might not have the right equipment, they're not set up properly. You're going to start to feel it in your hip flexors, you may feel a little bit tight in your hamstrings. So I have tried to do some movement through the feet throughout that first part, but I'm going to now stretch out hip flexors and hamstrings, and I'm going to incorporate some upper back stretches and chest stretches. So this is a really nice flow. So I'm going to ask you to, you can use a chair, or you can go to your worktop and pretend the worktop there is for support. Okay, so I'm going to get you to stretch out hip flexors here on that left foot and stretch out your hamstrings. So hand on the chair for support. I'm going to get you to do like a heel strike. Wrong leg. So I'm going to get you to do a heel strike with the right leg and lift the left heel up. Spread your toes out. Sit back and peel your toe up on your right foot. That's going to give you a slight stretch in your calf there. Again, think about your posture. So again, put the weight into your right foot, heel comes up. So this is a really great exercise to do just to get some heel strike action through the feet and through the ankles. Try not to lock that right knee out if you can. So when I come onto this one, I'm going to start to squeeze my glute muscle, and you'll feel a slight stretch into this hip flexor. Come back down and flex the foot to stretch your calves out. Okay, I'm going to start to work on hip flexor. So squeeze your glutes. See if it feels good to take your left arm up and reach up to get some length right down that left side of the body. If you've got any shoulder problems, keep your arms at the side if that feels a little bit too stiff. Then bring it down. As I come down, I'm going to bend the left knee and I'm going to push my hips back. And you should feel a stretch in your hamstrings here. Think about engaging those core muscles. So I'm going to lean, weight goes into the right side, squeeze the glute, arm goes up, lengthen. Bring it down, push the hips back, hand on your supporting leg and stretch. And you can flex that foot or you can keep it down. So again, lengthening, squeeze your glute on your left side and then sit back. So let's just try a couple more. So osteoporosis, osteopenia, stay where you are. I'm just going to lean over slightly to get a lovely stretch in the side of the body. I'm going to do one more, guys. So sit back, flex, and then come up, lengthen, squeeze your glutes, and then just lean over to the side and then bring it back. We're going to do the other side in a second. What I'm going to do is levator scapula on this side. So this is an area that we get really tight. The levator scapula helps the scapula move up and down, and it attaches into the neck, into the back of the shoulder. So I'm going to ask you to take your left hand and place it behind your back, just like this. And then I'm going to ask you to look to your right shoulder and ideally look down towards the floor. So straight away you'll feel a lengthening and stretching. Now that might be just where you need to be, so just stay with that. So it's a turn, slight nodding in the chin and drop down, and you should feel some lovely lengthening and stretching. If you want to go a little bit further, take your right hand and just gently press. How does that feel? You can do this sat on a chair as well. You can put your hand here and get a little bit more stretch for those who really feel that. Okay, just circle round. How does that feel? Okay, I'm going to do a stretch for your back now. I'm going to lengthen the back because we're constantly in this rounded, hopefully you do sit up correctly because of our great correction of posture. But sometimes we do forget, don't we? So this, or looking at phones. So this one, I want you to choose your position. It all depends on your length in your arms. You can use your worktop or you can use your chair. Straight legs or soft knees. I actually feel better with a bent knee on this. So place the hands on your chair or your worktop. Move back to where it feels comfortable for you. And then I'm going to just move till I feel a lot of lengthening and a lot of stretching. Head goes towards the arms, so in between the arms, so you're not dropping your head down. Just think about lengthening and stretching out. Engage the core, so that's protecting the whole of your spine. So really draw those tummy muscles in. Take a breath in and just gently press the chest down. Again, watch the position of the head. Knees are soft, or you can have them straight if that wants to get a little stretch in your hamstrings as well. Now you can get a little bit more stretch in the left side that we did before by taking your left hand into the centre between your arms and take your right arm over and just lean over slightly to the left. And you'll feel a slight stretch more. And then we'll swap over, right hand down, left hand on top, and then lean over. And if that doesn't feel good for you, just stay with this. Careful as you come up, bend the knees, just walk your feet in slightly, hands on your thigh, and slowly lift up and circle round. How are you feeling? So I'm going to get you to do the other side and then we'll do another stretch for the upper body. So, obviously go to the other side of your worktop and we're going to be stretching the right hip, so left foot forward. So you've got your heel straight with your left. Lift the right heel up, lean back, feel the weight of transition through the weight. And maybe be mindful of the weight bearing on this. So you'll feel muscles switching on in your left leg and you'll feel muscles switching on in your right. And there'll be muscles in your glutes, in your quadriceps, in your hamstrings, in your lower back. So just be mindful of what you can feel switching on. So the weight is going into the left leg. I'm going to start to squeeze this right glute cheek and then bring it back. Again, you can feel that stretch in the calf, so bring your toes up towards your shins, and then I'm going to start to add the arm. Try and keep the ribs in line with the hips and think about lengthening the arm and then bring it back. Start to push your hips slightly forward, squeeze your glutes again and standing up nice and tall. Then I'm going to start to push my hip back. The knees tracking in line with my second and third toe, and I'm doing that little bit of stretch in my hamstring. And again, you can turn that toe up to get a calf stretch. And then I come up, staying in neutral position for a second. Again, any back conditions, any neck condition, you may not want to do this, but I'm going to just stretch over, see how that feels. and then come back, and then sit back down again. Push your hip to the back. Feel the stretch in your hamstring, guys. And again, come up, lifting up. Lengthen your arms, get some length. Squeeze your right bum cheek. Watch that left knee doesn't lock out. And then lean over if it feels good. Soften that left elbow as you do that. I'm just going to get you to do that one more time. Again, sit back, hips go back. Nice stretch there. And then come up. So great one for the hip flexors, which become quite tight. Great for the hamstring, and then I'm getting a little bit of side bend there as well, stretching out those muscles around your lats and into your external obliques, and give your legs a little shake out. Okay, I'm going to do the levator scapular again, so hand goes around the back. I'm going to turn my head to the left, slightly nod the chin, and look towards my shoulder or towards the floor. And again, that might be where you are, where you want to stay, to get some length into this muscle here. Or you can take your left hand, gently press down, and you could look maybe towards the pocket of the armpit, or eye gaze slightly down. How does that feel compared to the other side? Does it feel any different? Does it feel tighter? Just be mindful of that. Keep the knees soft and then let it go. And then just circle those shoulders round. How does that feel now? You've done those stretches around the neck and shoulders. It feels amazing. Okay, chest stretch. You can either stay here. So remember, the chest is really important to keep lengthened and open because of this constant rolling shoulders forward. These muscles generally come tighter. Well, not you guys. So shoulders are round, back and down. I'm just going to either clasp my hands together, squeeze them, and imagine I'm trying to pop a button off my blouse or my shirt. And that might just be for you. That might be where you want to be, and that's fine. It's going to lengthen, it's going to stretch, you're standing tall. Go with whatever breath feels good for you. Or you could go behind your chair and squeeze here. If it feels good for those people who can, watch the head doesn't go too into extension, just get a slight extension in the back there. If that's too tight for you, just stay here and do the same thing, just opening and stretching out the chest. And then release, give those legs a little shake. Well done. So this whole flow is mobilizing all the upper body. We went through lots of different exercise, flexion, some rotation, some rotator cuff movements, retraction, and then I followed it through with some stretches in those areas as well. But I incorporated some of those hip flexors and hamstrings that are tight through sitting for long periods of time. So I hope you have enjoyed this session. Again, any comments, any feedback, pop it down in the comments below. If there's anything that you're not sure about, whether you're doing it correctly or not, again, we're here to support you. But thank you for joining me today in this lovely, cosy studio of the Pilates studio in Glossop, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you.